The following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Coming up on the broadcast tonight, another fraternity may be in trouble here at SU for some controversial actions taken at the Greek Week's karaoke night.
And as the campus continues to be green, we see what measures are taken by the university to recycle and the environmental benefits as a result of it.
And controversy surrounds the student newspaper as plagiarism is revealed on a social network. We also will have a sports update, campus connection, and what to expect in this week's weather. This is SUTV Evening News. Good evening, Salisbury University, and welcome to SUTV Evening News this Thursday, May 8th. I'm Sarah Wood.
And I'm Brooke Reese. We begin tonight's broadcast with the information on the Kappa Sigma fraternity incident from last week. In the midst of Greek Week, the fraternity performed a provocative routine in front of the Greek community where women were involved on the stage. The men of Kappa Sigma suggestively danced and later sprayed whipped cream on the females. The Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Dane Faust, sent out a campus-wide email notifying the university of the fraternity's interim suspension, saying, quote, actions are found to be in violation of the campus policies will be dealt with appropriately and will not be tolerated, while SU and the national chapter will review actions and determine consequences for the event.
The university is facing decision-making of what choice of educational platform may replace My Classes. The contract with Blackboard, Inc. is set to expire, prompting the university to decide if they'd like to seek renewal or if they'd like to seek another platform. If students are interested in being part of the decision-making process, there will be testing for the products. Students can volunteer via registration at www.salisbury.edu/instructional-design/LMS review. And the existing SGA president, Catherine Mooney, sat down with SUTV's Eli Maudlin to discuss her hopes for next year's SGA board, led by succeeding President Evan Miller.
What I miss the most is walking around campus and constantly seeing someone you know. I think is like that's the greatest thing about our campus is that you can always see someone you know and wave hi and feel like you have someone that you have that connection with. So I think that is probably what I'm going to miss the most. But it's been a good 4 years at Salisbury. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't have traded SGA for the world either. I think as many struggles and hard times, and then we have the great times and things like that, but I wouldn't have traded my experience for the world. And I'm very fortunate that I got to be president for 2 years because it made me a better person in the end. And then, but I hope the same for Evan. I hope the same for our exec board. I think they're going to have a long year ahead of them, but I'm excited for them, and I'm excited for Salisbury's future.
And we wish Catherine the best of luck as she graduates, and we appreciate her hard work here at SU. And Eli Maudlin also sat down with gubernatorial candidate David Craig to discuss his candidacy and what he hopes to achieve if elected governor.
Why are you running for governor of Maryland? We want to give the people of Maryland a real choice when they get out to vote. We encourage people to get out and vote. We want to make sure that people understand that our form of government is about making sure that you get out to vote and that you have different people you can vote for that have a record. And I have the experience that I want to offer people since I've been a county executive and since I've been a mayor of Haverty Grace and have done other things like that, that I can show them that many people will talk about what it is they want to do for the people, for their quality of life, for their education, for their public safety. But as the county executive and mayor, I have the experience of actually having done it.
And the fight for cancer is being fought not only by SU, but on many college campuses around the nation. And this year, Salisbury University was recognized for raising over $1 million since 2002 for the American Cancer Society through the last 13 Relay for Life. SU has been named one of the top 20 leaders of hope by Colleges Against Cancer twice now, and we're the CAC Rookie of the Year chapter in 2007, and in 2011, the American Cancer Society recognized our university for the outstanding administrative support. In this year's relay, we raised over $100,000 with 70 teams and over 1,500 participants. To donate to the Relay for Life organization, go to relayforlife.org/SUMD.
And on Monday, May 12th from 7 to 8:15 at GUC in the Wycomico Room, the college Republicans and Democrats will be hosting an SU alumni legislative panel discussion. This will allow for students the opportunity to ask questions and hear from some of the Salisbury University's most distinguished alum that are currently serving in the Maryland General State Assembly.
And with so much going on in the sports on and off campus, Amanda Newman is here with your sports update.
The number 7 men's baseball team ended their regular season with a 4-3 win over Montclair State University. Junior pitcher Kyle Hamby recorded the win for the Seagulls. Freshman Pete Grasso had his first save for the season. The Seagulls ended their season with a 33-7 record. Now they wait to find out who they will be playing in the NCAA tournament, which is set to start next Wednesday. The number 4 women's softball team is hosting the regional tournament this weekend. The Seagulls' first game will be Friday at 3:30 against Penn State University Berks. The double elimination tournament will be held until Sunday. The winning teams will go on to a best of 3 super regional next weekend. The number 2 men's lacrosse team beat York College last Saturday in the CAC Championship 12-4, and they will also be playing them again this Saturday at 12 p.m. at Seagull Stadium in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Senior midi Devon Lang led the Seagulls with 3 goals. Senior attacks Rhett Del Pole and Luke Phipps both had 2 goals and 2 assists. And the number 2 women's lacrosse team claims their 12th consecutive CAC title against York. The Gulls beat the Spartans 13-6. Senior Shannon Carta led the team with 4 goals, and senior goalie Ashton Wheatley recorded the win with 13 saves. This Saturday, the Seagulls will be hosting Farmingdale State at 3:30 in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Best of luck to you all. And now back to you, girls.
And SUTV correspondent Taylor Rogers explored the ways that SU promotes recycling here on campus in innovative ways. He spoke to Sustainability here at SU for more information.
Reduce, reuse, recycle isn't just an environmental catchphrase at Salisbury University. It's a standard operating procedure.
It's just part of our overall philosophy here at the university and the commitment that we've made at the university from the highest levels that we want to be green. And recycling is a big part of being green.
SU dedicates a full-time crew to recycling, emptying bins, separating paper, plastic, and cans to be sent to local recycling centers. But on a campus with nearly 9,000 hungry mouths to feed, even the campus's leftovers are repurposed.
All that food, the paper products, gets sent away to a facility that composts it, turns it into a soil amendment. What we've done with that is we have cut down our total waste leaving the campus by about 30%.
SU's annual Recycle Madness encourages the campus community to help preserve our environment. Last fall, over 3,500 pounds of recyclable waste was collected, and all this rubble from the demolition of Carruthers Hall will be separated into stone and metal piles, then reused in other projects. Even the bricks are being repurposed. They're being sold as souvenirs to nostalgic alumni. Shelton says these are big picture projects, but each person can make a big difference.
You know, we all wonder, what can we do to try to do better in terms of the environment and our daily routine? And this is a simple thing. This is just a matter of everyday decisions, easy decisions, and we can all play a part.
And that small part Shelton talks about is simply disposing of everyday trash properly at sites like these, open to the campus and surrounding community. In Salisbury, I'm Taylor Rogers, reporting.
And now let's look at some university history here at SU in a throwback. In December of 1966, many buildings that still exist on campus today were christened. Some of these include Holloway Hall, Carruthers Campus School, Taw's Gym, Memorial Student Union, Wycomico, Minokan, and Pocomoke Halls. These academic buildings were named after past presidents, and dorms were named after rivers on the Eastern Shore. This picture shows the construction process of the university we now call home.
And one of these buildings that does not remain on campus today is Taw's Gym, named after the Governor Millard Tawes. This gymnasium was first built on campus before the introduction of Mag's Gym.
And in 1955, Barbara Bailey was elected president of the SGA. She was the first woman that served since the year the association was organized. SGA has elected numerous presidents throughout the years, but her contribution initiated leadership amongst the student body.
And it's time for finals when we get some students students forget to eat healthy, and it's a very stressful time. Layla Deftari shows us how to maintain a well-rounded diet.
University life is a liberating experience for students. Sleep whenever you want, eat whatever you want. But Salisbury University dietitian Katie Cerulli says making good eating choices can help prevent students from gaining weight, often called the freshman 15.
I have had experience with students that have gained sometimes as much as 25 pounds over the course, of their first semester in college.
Salisbury University student Sarah Falk says for her, the campus dining hall serves up too much temptation.
I think a lot of the stations in Commons, like Gold and Crispy, and like having mozzarella sticks and chicken fingers every day, like being out there for everyone and like having pizza and stuff is not a good option for the students. So I don't think it's helping them any.
Cerulli agrees the Commons offers foods that are good and bad for you. She says part of college life is learning how to choose wisely and eat in moderation.
You have to make them realize that there's certain foods that, maybe you think they taste good, but you don't eat them as often. You have smaller portions, so, I don't think that pulling all those things away would necessarily be a good thing.
Cerulli says it's okay to splurge occasionally, but passing up the refried beans for the bean sprouts will help keep the freshman 15 from becoming the junior 30. While some nearby eateries, even the fast food restaurants, offer healthy foods on their menus. So listen to your mother and eat your veggies. In Salisbury, I'm Layla Deftari reporting.
Thanks, Layla. And now we go to Jamie Potter for a look into what's new in this week's flyer.
This is Jamie Potter with this semester's last edition of This Week in the Flyer. On the front page, we see Greek, Greek, Greek as Shannon Wiley highlights the events and scandals of Greek Week, and Justin McClure writes about the introduction of a new African-American sorority in his article titled Delta Sigma Theta Adds to Divine Nine. In the editorial section, Stephen Seneme writes how Salisbury University landed in the top 10 for the Princeton Review's list titled Election. What election? This is one list students should not be proud to be on, Seneme expresses in his article titled A More Politically Active SU. Seneme explains that although many of the reasons for the inactivity are out of our control, there are steps the campus can take to get people more involved. Kyle Shaw expresses his fears over fast advances in technology in his article titled The Future of Artificial Intelligence. Shaw writes how this generation's obsession and dependency on technology is concerning. To hear more on where AI may take us, flip to page 6 of this week's flyer. The R-Review, titled Print May Be Dying But Not in Colleges, states how more people at universities read print newspapers than the online version. The writers of this editorial worry what will happen if they listen to advisors and slash back on print. In the Goal Life section, Jessica Goodell writes about the ambition of a junior at SU in her article titled Seagulls Fly. Goodell goes through the story of how geography major and SUTV meteorologist Emily Lewis became a private pilot and how she hopes to lead a life that combines weather and aviation, her two big passions. For inspiration to follow your dream, check out this article. That's all for this week's edition. Now to Sarah and Brooke.
Thanks, Jamie. And there was some controversy surrounding this week's newspaper as writer Michael Fitzgerald's article titled The Strange Beliefs of Monotheists, as he was found to be plagiarizing work from the deceased author Christopher Hitchens. The accusations and suspicion of the plagiarism was responded to with a statement by Fitzgerald that states, quote, I readily admit that I was writing material that belongs to the work of Christopher Hitchens, and when writing the article, I had intended to identify his ideas to have them illustrated with the most transparency. He continued to write, quote, I apologize deeply for turning that in. I had no intention of plagiarism. The statement can be found on the Flyer's Facebook page. And SUTV correspondent Aaron Cahill caught up with Commuter Connections and how they teach students financial literacy, help students to plan ahead, walk through financial problems or concerns, whether it be before or after graduation.
For the final Commuter Connections of the semester, held in the Nana Coke room upstairs at the GUC, they cover the topic of financial literacy, a concern for many college students. We interviewed the speaker, Vivian Shannon Ramsey, about the many questions students have pertaining to postgraduate finances.
Some of the things we talked about in them being prepared is looking at contacting creditors, having a financial plan in terms of a budget, recognizing the means of what they can live with and without, understanding their needs versus their wants.
Along with addressing the many concerns about students' financial problems, Vivian offered some tips about how to make the most of everything available to you.
Tried to share with students using everything that's possibly free in terms of resources, liquidating things that they don't need before they get ready to graduate so that they can minimize unnecessary expenses. I also recommended to students to using family and friends as a resource. Also recommended to students being able to understand the cost of what they're going to be spending when they leave, because most students are graduating without employment. So without a job, how are you going to pay for the necessities? Students were very positive. They seemed very attentive. Some of them were looking like, whoa, I didn't ever think about that. And then some students stayed a little bit longer so we can kind of talk about where they're going to go from there, because some of them weren't seniors. So they were really looking at the information to say, okay, I can plan ahead.
Speaking of using your available resources, Commuter Connections is a local opportunity for those who are financially dependent. Currently, Commuter Connections has job opportunities available for next fall. For more information, visit their website. This is Erin Cahill reporting for SUTV News.
Thanks, Aaron. And on Monday morning, a 15-year-old female student was raped at Parkside High School in the hallway. At 8 a.m., when most students attended their first period classes, Jacori Marie Scarborough led the student down the hallway in the high school before sexually assaulting her, according to charging documents. The 17-year-old Scarborough will be charged with 8 adult crimes, including first and second degree rape and assault. He's been released on a $100,000 bail.
And last month, Boko Haram, an Islamic group and terrorist organization based in the northeast part of Nigeria, captured 300 schoolgirls from Chibok, with 276 girls still missing. The rescue process proves to be complicated, with many factors including the time, location, number of hostages, and ruthlessness of the organization, especially as leader Shaku declares his plans to sell the girls. And on Monday in Gambrua Nagala, the Boko Haram attacked again, and villagers that returned to the village said that they found 310 bodies. However, this has gained international attention as the United States, Britain, China, and others look for a way to help.
And at Stephen Decatur High School, a student was arrested on Monday for mailing 3 packages of feces to the high school vice principal, Mark Flynn. The unidentified high school senior was punished with a maximum suspension of 10 days. He was arrested and charged with 3 counts of disturbing activities at a school and another 3 counts of molesting a school administrator due to his malicious actions.
And many facilities here at SU can be easily overlooked with what they have to offer. One of these may be the career services, but for students looking for opportunities and seeking employment on campus, this is a service to take advantage of. Thomas Albert brings us that story tonight.
Are you spending the summer in Salisbury and want to make a few extra bucks? If so, Salisbury University may be your employment answer. They've got over 1,000 jobs for students in and around campus. Alyssa Martin works at the university's information desk.
They're a little hard to find, but once you get one, I think they're really convenient because you can go straight from class to your job. And then also they're pretty flexible with your school schedule and things.
Becca Thomas gives campus tours to prospective students.
Talking to my friend, and she worked in admissions, and she said that they were hiring new tour guides. And she said to come in and apply, and I went to the admissions house and filled out an application.
Campus jobs offer at least 20 hours per week, and most pay minimum wage. Career Service Counselor Gloria Horner says finding a job is an internet click away. Simply go to the Career Services student webpage and click on Find a Job.
So we put any job that we get in online for on-campus employment.
Horner says many departments on campus bypass Career Services altogether and advertise their own openings. The departments also handle interviewing and hiring themselves.
Some departments have an application, but it's always going to be geared towards what they're looking for and need to know. And some departments are much more what I would call trying to get the students ready for a professional world out there, so they request a resume, sometimes a cover letter, sometimes it's all of the above.
Horner says part-time jobs help students become better time managers, and most find on-campus jobs to be a good experience. In Salisbury, I'm Thomas Albert reporting.
And career services can be found inside GUC and beside Cool Beans. We now go to Travis Bush and Alyssa Sweeney to find out what to expect in this week's forecast.
Good evening, everyone. This is your meteorologist, Alyssa Sweeney. As you can see today, we had an overcast in the morning, cleared up though. The skies around 2 o'clock became very sunny, and it reached a high of 85 actually, and the National Weather Service called for 77.
So taking a look at the satellite coverage of the country, you can see right now the clear skies over the eastern United States will keep the summertime temperatures in our area through the weekend before this cold front pushes through Delmarva. Currently, the front actually caused some flash flooding today in Dallas and Oklahoma City, where many of the interstates actually were under several inches of water. And the last week, you may have heard about the tornado outbreak in the southeastern part of the United States. The first prominent tornado to strike was the tornado that occurred in Mayflower, Arkansas, Sunday the 27th, which was 3 years to the day of the major outbreak in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This tornado was rated an EF4 with winds estimated anywhere between 180 and 190 miles an hour. It was on the ground for 41.3 miles, and a path that long is extremely rare for a tornado of any size.
So over here we see the before pictures of what used to be, and then we see the after pictures. Now, that tornado plowed right through that area, leaving a few homes untouched, but for the most part, it just plowed right through.
And then on Monday, another outbreak occurred a little bit further east in Mississippi and Alabama. The tornadoes in Mississippi were more well known. Another EF4 touched down in Louisville, Mississippi. Just if you look right here, you can see the dual pole radar, which it's used to tell if there's any debris in the air, which obviously signifies a tornado. This right here shows that debris was picked up on radar to be up to 5 miles in the air. And you can see this other one right here. This is what it looks like on the surface. Whenever they see a blue dot or a dark blue dot around surrounded by red, yellows, or oranges, that obviously means a tornado is on the ground because the debris are suspended in the air.
So that door that you see was actually picked up somewhere and was dropped off at Mississippi State University and was found in one of the dorm areas. That goes to show that the tornado was so strong it picked up that debris, traveled so far, and just dropped it off right there, which is pretty incredible.
And not only did the storm cause tornadoes in the southeast, it also caused extreme flooding, which we'll hit on later. Right now, it's just the storm reports ranging from Sunday the 27th all the way through Tuesday the 29th. You notice the majority of storms move east throughout the day. And just something, there's a tornado that passed through the radar station in Brandon, Missouri. So as it was passing over the area, they calibrate the radar systems so they don't scan within 10 miles of the site. That way they don't pick up on trees or any infrastructure within the area. So for the brief time the tornado was in the immediate area, it actually went off the radar. So like I was saying, not only did the storm touch off tornadoes, it also caused extreme flooding. But the flooding didn't kill anyone like the tornadoes did in the southeast. There was a total of 33 fatalities. Again, the majority of them were from that Mayflower tornado in Arkansas. So finally, the flooding. In Pensacola, Florida, a one-day total of 19.5 inches. And there are the bottom two pictures. You just give you some scale about how much water they had. It's just they received so much rain in so little time that the cars were pretty much covered. And then Alyssa will tell you about the flooding here more locally in Baltimore.
So in Baltimore, as you can see, a child and the mother in the kayak with some very cute dogs were actually kayaking through their neighborhood. This goes to show that the water was deep enough to sweep anyone off their feet, which is very dangerous, and had a lot of property damage, ruined a lot of homes, very expensive and costly.
So bringing the weather back closer to home in a second. Right now you can see just a little, it's the satellite view of the southeast. Right now, as it's the beginning of the burn season, they actually burn off the fields to have a quicker turnaround time for them to be able to plant. And just a small fact, Tuesday in Mississippi, this image was captured. It was what they call a fire NATO. And what it was is the heat was so extreme, the wind was so extreme that Alyssa will tell you more about that.
So the fire tornado, it was so strong that the fire actually twisted up, and you can see it reached the sky's limit. So that's a pretty scary image of a tornado, let alone a fire tornado.
So now we're bringing the weather back closer to home. You can see the high pressure that's situated right now over the southeast coast, like I said earlier, will be with us through the weekend. And the circulation around the high, with it being clockwise, will bring in the southerly flow, which will allow for temperatures to soar 80s, mid-80s throughout the weekend. However, the humidity will increase, so it'll get a little bit of summertime feel to finish out the semester here in Salisbury.
So our 36-hour outlook, we have 62 and clear tonight. Tomorrow it's going to be sunny, warm, 82, hopefully not as humid as it was today. And then tomorrow night, some clouds, 64. So far we are good with no precipitation, which is a great setup for a great weekend.
So for your weekend outlook, tomorrow morning, taking a look at the surface map, you can see the warm front slowly pushed their area this morning, actually, which caused the increase in temperatures and humidity. The cold front is going to take its time reaching across the country, which is perfect news for us because, as you can see, Saturday doesn't really move pretty far. It's still west of the Appalachians. The rain chances won't, you had a slight chance Saturday afternoon just from the usual summertime pop-up thunderstorms. However, that chance is only 20%. And actually, when this front comes through, it actually will be pretty dry front, so you won't see any high chances of rain.
Our 7-day outlook. Friday and Saturday, very nice, 82, 83 degrees. Sunday, like Travis said, possibly 20% chance of a shower. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, some clouds, possibly rain, but still in the 70s. And finishing off Thursday, a little bit cooler, still 70s, which I consider to be a great, comfortable temperature for this area. So
for all you students at Salisbury, good luck on your finals. It will be hard to study, though, with temperatures being in the low to mid 70s, but get that studying done and have a good summer. That's all for us.
Everyone.
Stay classy, Salisbury.
That's all we have for SUTV Evening News tonight, but be sure to stay tuned for another episode of Sports Night.
This will be the last newscast for this semester, but be sure to join us back here next semester for all the news of on and off campus.
Thanks so much for watching. From all of us here at SUTV, good night.